August 19th, 2001 is a day I will never forget. I was in Philadelphia and I received a phone call around 2 a.m. and the woman on the phone said, "Miss Harris, your father just expired." I knew what she meant, but the word expired. We weren't talking about a parking meter or a milk carton. We were talking about my father, a person, and a person I just seen a few hours ago. Let me set the stage for you. My father raised me as a single parent. My mother died from stomach cancer when I was 3 years old, and I would have had an older brother, but he died as an infant. I was in college preparing for my final exams while I was balancing trips back and forth to DC to manage my father's care while he was battling prostate cancer. I was just in DC hours earlier, and I returned to Philly to work on a final group project. According to society, I shouldn't be sitting in front of you today, but I am. And I'm here to share with you 3 strategies that I use to navigate life's challenges. Number 1, I pray. I didn't attend church regularly as a child. My father's illness brought me closer to God. In the months leading up to his death, I had this feeling that I was going to be planning a funeral before the year was over. I knew that what I was dealing with was bigger than me, and that the only thing that I could do was pray and turn to God. Death never comes at the right time, but I was blessed because I did not have to take a leave of absence from school, and I was able to graduate a term early. Dropping out was never an option for me. My father was counting down the days until my graduation date, and I knew that I had to finish to honor his legacy. Number 2, prove them wrong. I'm a first generation college graduate, and I spent 24 years working in the tech industry where Black women make up only 3% of that workforce. What that means is I've been the first, the only, or both for most of my career. Despite being qualified, I've experienced my fair share of rejections. The rejections only motivated me to keep striving for that one yes, because I never doubted my abilities. Plus, I had shed too much blood, sweat, and tears to earn my degree to not put my degree to good use. If someone told me no or that I wasn't good enough, that just motivated me to prove them wrong and prove myself right. Over time, I came to realize that rejection was simply a redirection to something bigger and better. Ultimately, years of rejections and redirections led me to a yes from a Fortune 500 tech company. Number 3, trust the process. I'm not saying I have it all figured out. And honestly, some days are harder than others. I chased my childhood dream of pursuing a career in technology. I followed the path that was set out for me by my father. Go to school, get your degree, get a job. I thought I was doing everything right, but little did I know that doing everything right would have me jumping from toxic work environment to toxic work environment to ultimately being diagnosed with breast cancer, work-related depression, anxiety, and PTSD, all in 2022. I know that's a lot. The workplace is not a friendly space for Black women. In fact, it's more like a battleground where your mental and physical health is the collateral damage. The weapons were trying to form against me, but by the grace of God and all those angels watching over me, they did not prosper, and I'm still standing today. My journey has not been easy, but had it not been for all those toxic work environments and all those rejections, I would have never started mentoring Black women in tech or discovered my passion for helping people reach their full potential. Had it not been for the PTSD, I wouldn't be writing a book to break the silence on workplace trauma and Black women. I didn't receive any scholarships when I was a student, and I didn't receive any additional financial aid after my father died. Had it not been for that experience, I would have never started my own scholarship supporting African American students studying technology. Some people say God will make you uncomfortable when it's time for you to move. Had it not been for the cancer or the PTSD, I would still be playing it safe and staying in a job that had me dragging myself to work every single day. I know some of you have been there, and some of you are probably dealing with that right now. You hear that inner voice or those whispers telling you, leave that job, start the business, or write the book. But you talk yourself out of it saying, there's no way I can do that. I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough. I was right there with you. I was trying to work my plan and work my timeline, but clearly God had other plans for me. I decided to take a leap and better myself and pivot into entrepreneurship. I saw a meme recently that said, when it's God, it flows, and when it's you, it's forced. And that really resonated with me because my word for 2023 is flow. Speaking of flow, I was invited to be a first-time speaker at an international coaching conference. I was invited to be an executive coach at the Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit, and I received a coaching contract from a national nonprofit organization, all in the span of 3 days. I think back to my last corporate job, where I applied for 10 jobs in under a year with no luck. Looking back, I can see that was forced because clearly I was not meant to be there any longer. 21-year-old me would have never imagined I would be sharing this story with you today. I got here by being intentional with my personal and professional development. Growth is uncomfortable. What's worse is not living up to your full potential or using your strengths. When was the last time you asked yourself if you are living the life that you envision? The one thing that I've learned is that there are no coincidences, and every experience has led me to this point today. I'm not going to lie. I still have my why, Lord, and how long, Lord moments, but I control the way I respond by training my mind to look for the opportunity in the situation. I've learned to push myself and do things afraid. I want you to remember that I'm no different from you. I'm still trying to figure this out, and some days none of this makes sense. But I pray, I prove them wrong, and I trust the process. Make sure you write that down in your journal. To recap, here are the 3 things you can do to navigate life's challenges. Pray, prove them wrong, and trust the process. If you want to stay connected with me, you can scan the QR code to join my mailing list, or you can visit me on the web at angelavharris.com. Thank you.